Welcome back. Last time, we saw the Larimer County District Court deny a father's motion to void a decade-old support order. The reason wasn't about the evidence, but about procedure. The court basically said, sorry, you're too late. So what happened next? Well, that's what we're digging into today.
Right, so this was the court's procedural wall. The judge essentially said, look, regardless of the facts, the clock has run out. But just 10 days later, on November 12th, the petitioner launched a multi-pronged legal attack designed to tear that wall right down.
His first move was something called a motion for reconsideration. And let's be clear, this wasn't just him asking for a do-over. This was a formal legal argument stating that the judge's entire reason for denial, the whole thing about missed deadlines, was a fundamental error of law.
To really get what's happening, you have to understand this term, a void judgment. This isn't just a judgment that's incorrect or flawed. A void judgment is like a legal ghost. It's considered a complete nullity. It never legally existed in the first place. And that distinction, it's absolutely crucial here.
And this is where it gets really interesting. On one hand, you have the court saying he's out of time. On the other, you have Colorado's own rules of civil procedure. And Rule 60b-4 is crystal clear. You can challenge a void judgment at any time. There's no deadline, ever. So the petitioner's argument is that by applying time limits, the court was simply deflecting its duty to look at the actual evidence. So this motion for reconsideration is all about forcing the judge to stop talking about timelines and to finally confront the one document that started this whole thing a decade ago.
And there it is, in black and white, from the court's own records, unable to enter support orders. It raises this one massive, unavoidable question. If the court itself said it was unable to create the order, then what document has the state been enforcing for the last 10 years? This is the fundamental defect he claims makes the whole thing void from the start.
Okay, so on to the next part of the strategy. To prove this wasn't just a one-off mistake, he sent an official request to the clerk of court. He wanted to shine a light on what he called a completely chaotic administrative file to show that this was a systemic problem, a total lack of integrity.
And the evidence of chaos is pretty compelling. First, those Social Security numbers the court said it needed, there's still no record they were ever filed. Second, the dollar amounts don't even match. The court note mentions $1,028 a month, but the state enforcement agency later admitted in writing they were collecting $1,128 based on a private agreement, not a court order. And then there's this weird phantom entry from 2022 that's missing all the key identifying information, which the petitioner claims was falsified to retroactively justify the collections.
Now, for the final piece of the puzzle. This one is a pure tactical strike. It isn't about the past. It's about a critical mistake the state made in its one and only response to the motion. Get this. The county attorney filed the state's official opposition, but they filed it in the wrong case. And not just a typo. They filed it under a completely different case number for a juvenile matter, referencing children who have nothing to do with this family. In the eyes of the law, that makes their filing a legal nullity. It's as if they never responded at all. This single administrative blunder creates a crystal clear path forward. Step 1, their response is legally worthless. Step 2, the petitioner files a motion to strike it from the record. Step 3, his original motion to void becomes legally unopposed. He's literally turning the state's incompetence into his own tactical advantage. And having an unopposed motion is a huge deal. It means all the evidence he submitted now stands completely unchallenged. There is no counter-argument on the record. So the court is now faced with a demand to not only declare the order void, but to deal with the consequences of enforcing a phantom debt for an entire decade. And the financial consequences are staggering. A forensic audit shows that's the minimum amount unlawfully seized over 10 years. Over $173,000, all based on an order the court itself admitted it was unable to enter.
So this is what it all boils down to. The petitioner has exposed the legal error in the denial, the chaos in the records, and a critical failure by the county attorney. Now the court has a choice. Does it protect the system and the fiction of this debt, or does it uphold the fundamental law and order justice? We'll find out what the court decides in the final part of our explainer. Thanks for tuning in.